Are you ready to get the New Hampshire primary started? It's time, is it not, to take back America for the people of this country? Is it time to elect a new president in 2012? That's why we're here, is it not? That's why we're here. On behalf of Betty, my wife, and the Granite Oath PAC, I'm Ovide Lamontagne. I want to welcome you to my boyhood home, where we live now, and we've raised our children. And it's very much our honor to introduce to you this evening a very special guest. Speaker Newt Gingrich was not only a wonderful congressman, but he was a wonderful speaker. And beyond that, I would say to you that he was the most important conservative voice in the post-Reagan era to continue the conservative message, the conservative movement in this country. And we owe him a great debt of gratitude, don't we? Yes. No one has spoken with more clarity, more consistency on core conservative principles. And I think it's a welcome news that we're not here welcoming someone exploring. We're welcoming a candidate for President of the United States. Please give a warm welcome to Newt Gingrich.
Let me start by let me say first of all, thank you to Betty and Ovide for allowing us to come into their home. This is a terrific crowd, and we're very grateful on a perfect day. I mean, it could not have been more beautiful today. So
you brought the weather.
I'm thrilled to be here. Because this is the right size group, and I know, having walked around, how many of you really know a lot about politics and government, I'm going to just say very, very brief couple words, and then we're going to go wherever you want to, and at the very end, those of you who want to stay, we'll let the news media, after the citizens have had a chance, we'll let them ask some questions too. Here, I'm going to say two key questions, and then three principles, and then we'll toss it over to you. The two questions are very simple. How many of you think America is seriously on the wrong track? How many of you think forcing Washington back onto the right track will be a really big fight? Now, those are the two reasons I'm running. I think this country is in real trouble. I think 4 more years of Obama will be a disaster. I think that we have an absolute obligation to make the 2012 election one of the greatest referendums in American history. And so I think I bring three qualifications. The first is we need a candidate who can very clearly describe the difference, because we're at a crossroads. Down the left road is a European-style economic decay, food stamp model of bureaucrats and politicians dominating the country, buying Brazilian oil while blocking American oil, running up huge debt for our children and grandchildren, and being completely out of touch with reality and foreign policy. Down the right road is American exceptionalism, free market principles, incentives, entrepreneurial encouragement, job creation, a serious understanding of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, a return of power from Washington back home, and a commitment to control the border, to understand the real world, and to have an American foreign policy based on American interests. And I think I can both help run a campaign that by October of next year makes clear how big the choice is. And I'd be very happy to stand on the same platform with President Obama and discuss his values versus the values of 80% of the American people. The second qualification is equally important. It's not enough just to beat him. If all we do is beat him, the same bureaucracies, the same judges, the same patterns are going to stay there. We need a fundamental change that is vastly bigger than the presidential campaign. That's part of why I want to design a campaign for next year that picks up at least 12 Senate seats and at least 30 to 40 more House seats. So we have a real momentum of the popular will and the American people expressing themselves. And then you have to ask yourself, and then we have a number of fine candidates, none of whom I'm going to say anything bad about. But you have to ask yourself, who has a proven track record in Washington of achieving very large-scale change? Well, as Speaker, we had the largest entitlement reform in our history. 2 out of 3 people on welfare went to work or went to school. We passed the first tax cut in 16 years, the largest capital gains tax cut in history. The unemployment rate went from 5.8% when I entered office to a little bit under 4% a year after I left office. So we got the right momentum going. And we adopted policies which balanced the budget for 4 consecutive years, paid off $405 billion in debt. So if you look at that scale of change, I think I can make a reasonable case that, in fact, while we have to do more now because the mess is bigger, at least I have a general notion, and we did that with a liberal Democrat in the White House. I mean, if we had Mitch McConnell and John Boehner and myself sitting down to work together, I think you'd be astonished how much we get done in the first 90 days of 2013. The last point I'll make is very simple. We are faced with challenges so large that we need solutions equally large. And I spent the last 12 years creating 4 small businesses, developing the Center for Health Transformation on Health Policy to create a center-right, doctor-patient-based, decentralized approach that enables us to get to better care and longer lives at lower cost. I spent time at the American Enterprise Institute and the Hoover Institution and the National Defense University looking at our fundamental challenges. And I think over the next few months you'll see area after area after area where I will be proposing changes large enough that if they occur, this will be a dramatically healthier, better country. I don't just want to have a choice between the left way and the right way and be sort of left light. I want to fundamentally wrench Washington off the left-wing path onto the right-wing path and get fundamental change in 2013. This is your time, and I want you to feel free to ask anything. I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking you to go to newt.org. I'm asking you to help me become president, and therefore you have every right to ask me what you want to. Yes, sir?